The first time the black SUV stopped outside the diner, the morning light seemed to dim, as if the day itself had decided to hold its breath. Plates froze mid-air, the bell above the door stopped ringing, and every eye turned toward the window. 4 men in dark suits stepped out in perfect order, their movements sharp and deliberate, followed by a woman clutching a leather folder thick enough to bend time. They walked toward the door with the quiet authority of people who never asked for permission. And in that moment, Lily, the waitress who had spent years refilling coffee cups and wiping crumbs from cracked tables, felt her heart sink, because she somehow knew they weren't there for breakfast. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of doing good when no one is watching, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this matter because people like Lily exist in the real world. Lily had worked the early shift at the corner diner for nearly 6 years, the kind of place where the windows rattled when trucks passed and the smell of burnt toast mixed with old memories. She took pride in knowing the regulars by their habits rather than their names. Black coffee with no sugar, 2 eggs always overcooked, oatmeal stirred exactly 3 times. But the old woman was different. She arrived every morning just after sunrise, walking slowly with a cane that looked older than the building itself. Her coat was always too thin for winter, her shoes carefully polished despite the cracks in the leather. She never complained, never rushed, and always chose the same booth by the window where the light softened her face. The old woman ordered the cheapest thing on the menu, sometimes nothing more than tea. Lily noticed how her hands shook when she lifted the cup, how her eyes lingered on the plates passing by, how she folded her napkin as if manners were the last thing she owned. It started with small gestures. Lily added an extra slice of toast, then a side of eggs. She told herself it was a mistake on the ticket, that no one would notice. When the woman tried to refuse, Lily simply smiled and kept moving. Kindness, Lily believed, worked best when it didn't ask permission. Life hadn't been gentle with Lily either. She was raising her younger brother after their mother passed, juggling rent, school fees, and exhaustion. Some days she skipped meals so he wouldn't have to. That was why she recognized the hunger in the old woman's eyes, the quiet dignity of someone who had learned to survive without asking for help. Over weeks, then months, their mornings became a silent ritual. Lily refilled the cup without being asked. The old woman left a few coins carefully lined up, sometimes apologetically light. Lily always told her it was enough, even when it wasn't. Winter came hard that year. Snow piled against the diner windows, and the heater groaned like it might give up at any moment. One morning, the old woman didn't show up. Lily felt an unexpected ache settle in her chest, the kind that comes from worry you didn't realize had roots. When the woman finally returned days later, her face looked thinner, her steps slower. Lily wrapped a scarf around her shoulders without thinking, pretending it belonged to the diner. The old woman's eyes filled with something heavy and grateful, and she squeezed Lily's hand with surprising strength. That was the morning Lily slipped an envelope into the woman's coat pocket. Inside was enough cash to cover groceries for a week, maybe more. Lily told herself it was an advance tip she'd somehow misplaced. She didn't expect the tears that followed, or the way the old woman held her hand as if she were holding on to the last warm thing in the world. Then came the day the SUVs arrived. The suits filled the diner with a tension that felt out of place among chipped mugs and faded menus. The men scanned the room with trained eyes while the woman with the folder approached the counter. Lily felt every step like a drumbeat in her chest. She wiped her hands on her apron, bracing herself for accusations she didn't understand yet. People like this didn't walk into places like this without reason. The old woman was already in her booth, sipping tea, her posture calm, almost peaceful. When she saw the newcomers, she didn't flinch. She simply folded her hands and waited. The bodyguards stopped a respectful distance away. The woman with the folder spoke quietly, her expression professional but gentle. The diner watched in stunned silence as papers were laid out, names pointed to, signatures revealed. Only then did the truth begin to surface. The old woman was not poor. She was not forgotten. She was one of the country's most reclusive philanthropists, a woman who had built and sold an empire decades ago, then vanished from public life after losing her family. She had spent years testing the world quietly, sitting in small places, watching how people treated her when they believed she had nothing. And Lily had passed that test without knowing it existed. The lawyers explained that the woman had been ill, that her time was limited, and that she had been searching not for someone impressive, but someone kind. Someone who gave without cameras, without applause, without expectation. The envelope Lily had slipped into her pocket had been the final proof. Kindness that cost something mattered more than kindness that was easy. The diner felt smaller as the weight of the moment settled. Lily's knees threatened to give way. She hadn't helped the old woman to be seen, to be rewarded, or to be remembered. She had helped because she understood what it meant to be invisible. Tears blurred her vision as she realized how close she had come to losing this simple, beautiful connection without ever knowing its depth. The offer that followed wasn't just money. It was a future. Education for Lily's brother. A fund to keep the diner open. A foundation in Lily's name to help others the way she had helped.